Welcome to Sicha's Academy. Here we will learn a Sicha from Lakuta Sichas Chelik Tezvav. It's a Sicha on Chanuka, and it's the first Sicha over there, Sicha Aleph. The topic of the Sicha is that in the Haneiros Halalu, we start with the order of saying Haneiros Halalu Ono Madlikin, Al HaTshuis, Val HaNisim, Val HaNiflois. However, we end with the order in Haneiros Halalu of saying Loheitus Halalu L'Shimcha Gadol Al Nisecha, Val Nifloisecha, Val Yeshuisecha. So when we start, first we say Tshuis and then Nisim and Niflois. And when we conclude, first we say Nisim and Niflois, Nisecha and Nifloisecha, and only afterwards do we say Tshuis, Yeshuisecha. And so the Rebbe will analyze and explain why the order is different. And in the process, another very strong question that is found about Chanuka will be answered. So, like we said, the topic of the Sicha is the Haneiros Halalu begins by saying Haneiros Halalu Onu Madlikin Al HaTshuis Val HaNisim Val HaNiflois, and it ends with saying Al Nisecha Val Nifloisecha Val Yeshuisecha. And so the question is, why is it that at the beginning we put Yeshuas first, we say Al HaTshuis, and then only afterwards do we say Val HaNisim Val HaNiflois, and at the end we place it last. First we say Al Nisecha Val Nifloisecha, and only afterwards do we say Val Yeshuisecha. And now when it comes to answering this question, there's going to be basically three stages. First, we're going to establish something general about Haneiros Halalu. Then we're going to present the key to answer the question, and then we'll present the details. So what we're going to start is by establishing something, and that is that from the fact that we mention in the Haneiros Halalu all types of miracles that Hashem performed for us, we don't just say we light the Haneiros Halalu Ono Madlikin Ala Tshuis, or just Nisim, or just Niflois. We say all three, Tshuis, Nisim, and Niflois. This indicates that the gratitude and thanks to Hashem that we're giving to Hashem in Haneiros Halalu is for all the miracles of Chanuka and not just the miracle of the menorah. It's not just for the Pachshel Shemen and that the menorah was lit for 8 days, but rather it's for all the miracles of Chanuka. Primarily what we're referring to over here are the victories that the Yidden had over the Yevonim, the Greeks. And so what we're establishing over here is that that in the Haneiros Halalu we are making mention and thanking Hashem for all the miracles of Chanuka and not just those related to the menorah. Now, before we continue and move on to the key, by establishing what we just did, we actually now answer another question and a very strong question. So this also answers a very strong question on Chanuka, which is that there is no mention of the miracle and the miracles, plural, of our victories over the Yevonim, the Greeks, on the nights of Chanuka, unlike Purim. On Purim, we say all the miracles, we mention all the miracles that Hashem performed for us, both on the night of Purim and in the day of Purim, both on the night and on the day. When we read the Megillah, we mention all the events that occurred. However, on Chanuka, we only mention and thank Hashem for the victories over the Yevonim in the day, because in the day a person davens Shachris, a person davens Mincha, and there he says Al HaNisim, and Al HaNisim speaks about the victory that we had over the Yevonim. But on the night of Chanuka, all the nights, the 8 nights, the Al HaNisim is said in Ma'ariv and in Birchas Hamazon. However, Ma'ariv is a reshus, it's voluntary. Today it's obligatory, it's a chayva, because we accepted it upon ourselves. But essentially, Ma'ariv is a reshus, it's a voluntary tefillah. So we don't have it in Ma'ariv, because Ma'ariv was only voluntary at the time. And regarding Birchas Hamazon, and a person is not obligated to eat bread and say Birchas Hamazon, so it comes out that we don't mention on the nights of Chanuka the miracles that Hashem performed for us in the victories over the Yevonim. However, now we see that we do mention the miracles. We mention them in the Haneiros Halalu. So that answers a very big question. But the main thing over here that's relevant to answer our original question is to establish that in the Haneiros Halalu we're thanking Hashem and we're talking about all the miracles that Hashem performed, both those related to the menorah and also those related to the victories over the Yevonim. And now we have the key that's going to answer our question. And the key is that the beginning of the Haneiros Halalu is the order that Hashem performed the miracles. That's how we're presenting it. Al HaTshuis, Al HaNisim, Val HaNiflois is an order of chronology, how the events occurred, as it says there. Al HaTshuis, Val HaNisim, Val HaNiflois, She'as Sicha Laveseinu Bayomim Mahim, that you performed for our fathers in those days. So it's going to be mentioned in the order that Hashem performed these miracles. And the order is first Tshuis, then Nisim, and later Niflois, like we'll see later. And at the end of the Haneiros Halalu, we mention them in the order that they awaken by us feelings of thanks and gratitude to Hashem. As it says there, Loheidus Halalu L'Shimcha Gadol, to thank and praise your great name, So the first thing we praise Hashem for are Nisecha, then Niflei Secha, and finally Yeshua Secha. And all this will be explained as we go through. But that's the key to answer the question that if we simply look at the words of the Haneiros Halalu, once we know that it's including in it all the miracles that occurred, when we just simply look at the words, we see clearly at the beginning it's going to present them in the order that Hashem performed them, and at the end it's in the order that makes us feel and express thanks and praise to the name of Hashem. And now we could start moving into the details. So let's begin. Once we put that in place, what we established and this general framework, now we can put the details in place. The first thing we need to bring out over here is, and we need to explain and present here, is what are Yeshuas, what are Nisim, and what are Niflois? What do these words mean? So the difference between Shuis, Nisim, and Niflois is as follows, and we're going to present it the way it actually occurs and relates to Chanuka. So when there's a battle between two equal sides and either one can win, a person needs a Yeshua so that he should come out victorious. So basically what a Yeshua is, it's talking about a situation that there's nothing extraordinary that's necessary. A person doesn't need a miracle. He doesn't even need something out of the ordinary to occur. Nature allows for him to be successful. However, nature also allows equally that he won't be successful, that he'll fail, like in a battle between two equal sides. And so a person needs a Yeshua from Hashem that he should succeed and not fail. So that's what a Yeshua is. Now we move on to a Nes. A Nes is when there's a situation where there's no way that one side can win in a battle, since it is so much weaker, and it nevertheless wins. So generally we say a Nes, it means that it transcends nature. So you could use a very simple example. An item has to be at rest if it simply on its own lifts itself up. It's breaking the laws of nature. It's not working within the boundaries of nature. That's considered a Nes. We're bringing it over here in a battle because, as we'll see, that's what's relevant in Chanukah. But the point is that it's something that nature doesn't allow to happen, and it happens anyway. And then we have a Pella. A Pella is something that can naturally happen. It's a wonder. In English, we'll say it's a wonder. However, when it occurs, it causes people to marvel at its happening. So it's not a Yeshua. A Yeshua is able to happen. A person is not amazed, wow, look what happened, because it was able to happen. A Pella, on the other hand, is something that is able to happen, but still it's unexpected. You don't think it'll happen. It's not likely. And so it elicits in a person an expression of wonder. And now that we put that in place and we defined what are Shuis, Nisim, and Niflois, we could actually see the answer itself, because we already said initially that at the beginning it's in the order that it occurred, and at the end it's in the order that awakens in a person the feelings of thanking Hashem. And we know what are Shuis, Nisim, and Niflois, the definition, so now we can put all the pieces into place. So all these types of help from Hashem occurred in the time of the story of Chanukah. Hashem performed for the Yidden Shuis, Nisim, and Niflois, and it was in the order of Shuis, Nisim, and Niflois. First, there was a small battle in the city of Madian when the Yevonim wanted to sacrifice a pig on a Mizbeach. So there was a small battle between two forces, that of the Yidden and that of the Yevonim. But this was a Yeshua, since the forces on both sides were basically equal. Then the next thing that occurred is, second, the Chashmonaim won the next battle. Here there was a huge force of soldiers of the Yevonim with proper weapons and military gear that completely outnumbered the Chashmonaim. And so the victory of the Chashmonaim was a Nes. It was clearly miraculous. Nature does not allow and did not allow for that to happen. It was the intervention of Hashem, something that completely broke the boundaries of nature. And then third was that they found one jar of olive oil that was in a crack in the ground. Now this can be explained as a natural occurrence. It's not a miracle. However, it is clearly a wonder and marvel that the Yevonim found every jar of oil. And here one was found that, number one, the seal wasn't broken. And number two, it wasn't even touched. Because if it was touched, it would also be tamei. It had to be in a crack that they knew that the Yevonim didn't touch it. Now afterwards, we also have a Nes, that the candles lit for 8 days. But that's included in the word Nisim. So if we go from the beginning of the story of Chanukah, the first intervention and the help from Hashem that the Yidden received was a Yeshua. Then we move along in the story and we find a Nes. And then we move along and we find the Pella. Afterwards we find another Nes, but that would be included in the word Nisim. So that's why we have the order Haneiros Halalu Ono Madlikim. In the order of what it says afterwards, Shal Sicha Lavesenu, that you performed for our fathers. So it's Ala Chues, the small battle in Madian, Vala Nisim, the big battle that happened afterwards, which was a Nes, and then Vala Niflois, the finding of the jug of oil. So that's how we understand the beginning of the Haneiros Halalu. Now we can move on and put the details into place as well for the end of Haneiros Halalu. The answer for the the order at the end. When it comes to praising and thanking Hashem, the order is different. The very first thing a person praises and thanks Hashem for are nisim, because a nes is unmistakably an act of Hashem, since it transcends the laws of nature. So if a nes occurs, a person automatically looks upwards to Hashem and says, thank you, Hashem, because there's no other way of understanding what happened. Then a person sees that also the events that are extraordinary are also the hand of Hashem. They're also from the hand of Hashem. So this thing occurs, it could occur, but it was very unlikely and improbable. And so when it occurs, it may not happen as quickly as by a miracle, but ultimately a person can recognize that this is also from the work of Hashem. And then lastly, a person realizes that the successes in nature are also from Hashem. As it says, La Hashem HaYeshua. The Yeshua is not from nature because nature allows for it, but rather, La Hashem HaYeshua. It comes from Hashem. And so with this, we really answered our question. We had a question at the beginning about the order of the Chuas, Nisim, and Eflois that are mentioned twice in Haneiros Halalu in different orders. And so we began by establishing Haneiros Halalu talks about all the miracles that occurred, even those related to the battles against the Yevonim. Once we put that in place, we're able to say that the beginning talks about the order that the events occurred, and at the end it's an order of what we praise Hashem. And then we put the details in place. We defined what are Yeshua's, Nisim, and Eflois. And then we showed how at the beginning it's an order of chronology, and at the end it's an order of what makes us praise Hashem. Now we're going to add another layer to go into greater depth, on a deeper level. And what we're doing over here essentially is, because it comes out that at the end when we say we praise Hashem, Al Nisecha, Va'al Nifleisecha, Va'al Yeshuisecha, the person is going to a higher level. First, the person realizes the obvious, that Nisim are from Hashem. Then he gets to a higher level where he realizes also the Neflois are from Hashem. Then a person goes even higher and he realizes also the Yeshuas are from Hashem. But the actual items that we're discussing here are going lower. The Nes is higher, a Pele is lower, and a Yeshua is even lower. But on a deeper level, we could explain that a Nes is lower, a Pele is higher, and a Yeshua is even higher. So we're actually going higher and higher in the praise as well. When it comes to the praise, when it comes to praising Hashem for these things, the things that we're praising Hashem for is from lower to higher. So Chassidus explains that the lower something is, really the higher is its source. And so too wonders, Niflois, are from a higher source than miracles, Nisim. And nature itself, meaning Yeshua, is greater than wonders, is greater than Niflois. So really, a Yeshua is the highest, lower than that is our Niflois, and lower than that are Nisim. What's the explanation for this? Nisim come from a place that's limited in being revealed. It doesn't have the ability to integrate in nature. It has to stay transcendent. It has to be revealed. Niflois come from a place that does not have to be revealed. It's able to integrate in nature. Nature allows for it. However, it's still somewhat revealed. It doesn't fit completely into nature. It doesn't integrate fully. Nature still demands that a person should not expect that it should happen. So it's somewhat not completely integrated into nature. And Yeshua's come from the essence of Hashem that transcends being revealed. It has the ability to become fully integrated in nature. It's not limited in being in a state of being revealed. And so now when it comes to praising Hashem, this is the finishing touch. With this in mind, the order of praising Hashem is from lower to higher. First, we begin with Nisim, which are from a level that is limited in being revealed, that has to be revealed. Then we praise Hashem for the thing that's higher, Niflois, which are from a level that is somewhat limited in being revealed, but not completely, so it's higher. And then we praise Hashem for the highest thing, for the Yeshuas, which are from a level that is not limited at all in being revealed. And that comes from Hashem Himself.